Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing my January wrap-up. So in January I read 17 books, and so let's just talk about them. Also, my baby son is in the room, so if you hear like little grunting noises like that, that would be why. Um, yes. But anyways. Alright, so the first book that I read this month is The Songs of a Warrior by Katie Morgan. This is just a middle grade, I think. It's either middle grade or YA. Seemed more middle grade to me. A retelling of the story of Saul and David, and Jonathan is also a major character. It was good. Um, didn't add too much extra to the biblical narrative, but it followed it decently faithfully, so I enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. Alright, next, I read what might be my favorite book of the year so far, and I know it's just January, but still. Winnie the Pooh. It was wonderful and precious, and I loved this very much. The very last line of the book, for example, let me just read this to you. It's not the very last line, sorry. When you wake up in the morning, Pooh, said Piglet at last, what's the first thing you say to yourself? What's for breakfast? Said Pooh. What do you say, Piglet? I say, I wonder what's going to happen exciting today, said Piglet. Pooh nodded thoughtfully. It's the same thing, he said. I love this book. I love the sense of humor that it has. It's so precious. I cannot wait to read it to my son when he's actually old enough to follow it. Because I read it to him this time, but, he's 2 months old, so he didn't quite follow it this time. But maybe once he's older, this will be fun. And I want to get the rest of the Pooh books, because, oh my goodness, I love it. Next book is The Husband Dilemma by Jessica Nelson. And I didn't tell you what Winnie the Pooh was about because I figure you know what Winnie the Pooh is about. If you don't know what Winnie the Pooh is about, you should go read Winnie the Pooh. This is about a girl who is, I think, she is partially lame. Like, she can't walk well, or she has, like, old injuries that still cause her pain. And during the Regency... Yeah! During the Regency era. And, she loves playing piano though. That's what she wants to do with the rest of her life, just play piano. Her parents won't listen and want her to be married, and so she hires a Bow Street runner, a detective, to find all the reasons that her parents' suitors that they're suggesting are so terrible. It was actually really fun. I liked it a lot. I gave it 3.5, rounded it up to 4 on Goodreads. I did like how her parents were presented, because normally in this kind of a book, the parents just kind of want to get the girls married off for no real reason. This one, you could tell the parents just wanted her to be happy, and they thought that was the best way for her to be happy, and it kind of was. So yes. I did really like that. Oh yeah, there is also a scene where the main 2 characters actually, save a girl from being assaulted. Nothing explicit or anything, but just FYI, in case that's a trigger for you. That's in there. Alright, the next book that I've read, so Healing the Soldier's Heart is set during, like, the Napoleon War era, like, post the Battle of Waterloo. The main character is a governess, and she befriends this soldier who, due to circumstances that happened during the battle, during the war, no longer speaks much. She speaks a little, but not much. And this is just them getting to know each other and falling in love and stuff. She reads to him, things like that. Yeah, not a lot to say about it. It was fine. I gave it a 3.25 on Goodreads. Well, 3 stars on Goodreads, but 3.25 would have been my actual rating. Alright, the next book that I read finished was Love and Friendship and Other Writings by Jane Austen. This was just some of her other work that is not just, obviously, the main novels, but she wrote some other things that were just little snippets or that were incomplete, things like that. So I gave it 5 stars just because it's Jane Austen, and her wit was definitely on display in this. I love Jane Austen's humor, so that was mainly why. They were funny, so the funny Jane Austens are my fave. Alright, so the next book that I finished was this fairy tales collection, and I read this to my son, my baby. I will probably be reading it again to him when he's older. He's, like I said, he's 2 months, so not exactly paying attention, but yeah, it was just a fun collection of different fairy tales. Some like Cinderella, Snow White was in here. I know very well, and then some like the Elves and the Shoemaker, Puss in Boots. I'd heard of Puss in Boots because of the movies and stuff, but I didn't know anything about the actual fairy tale. But it was interesting. It was good. I think I gave it 4 stars. So, yep. All right, the next book that I finished was The Bounty Hunter's Baby. Which first of all, I bought this used, and can I just say, let me hold this up to the screen so you can see. The person who owned this before me was very particular about the fact that the baby had dark hair and this baby has light hair, and I love this. This is my favorite thing. But this was great. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. It's by Erica Betch, by the way. It is about basically a bounty hunter realizes that the man that he's tracking has a baby, and so he takes it to the girl that he was in love with once before he became a bounty hunter. He takes the baby there, and things happen. It was just very relatable to reading it at this time in my life with my just having had a baby. There were some very relatable moments with them taking care of this newborn. So 4 stars. It was really good. I really like Erica Betch's writing. All right, next is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. 5 stars. I love this book. I read this for Chantel Reads All Day's 2024 Read Your Bookshelf Challenge because January the prompt was read a book that has a cat on the cover or a dog. It's 2 different paths. I was on the Montgomery path, so cat on the cover. Which actually the Fairy Tales book works for that because there's a Puss in Boots on the cover. Yeah, so this one would have worked because up here it's got Puss in Boots. But I decided I didn't realize that until after I'd already read Alice in Wonderland, and I loved it, so it didn't matter. So yeah, 5 stars. I just love the absurdist angle of Alice in Wonderland. I love the humor. It's just great. That's my kind of classic humor. It's perfect. Okay, the next one I read was Accidental Fiancé by Mary Moore. This is another Regency story. It's about a woman who accidentally has to pretend to be engaged to this guy, and just because things happened, they got caught, and in a not an inappropriate situation, but for the time it was considered kind of scandalous, so they had to pretend to be engaged, and yeah, it was good. I gave it 4 stars. I really loved how strong her faith was. That was really great because it's not what I expected out of a love-inspired historical. It was wonderful. Really love it. 4 stars. Next was A Hasty Betrothal by Jessica Nelson. I bought a lot of Jessica Nelson with a gift card somebody gave me because I figured if I buy the love-inspired historicals that are really cheap, I can get a lot of them. This one is about... Oh yeah. So I've read them all back to back too, though, so I don't remember all of them like apart. This one is about a bookish main character who accidentally has, again, scandal. She has to get at least engaged, and then she winds up getting married, actually, to a guy, so that just her reputation is saved. I really loved, she's really bookish. I love that, and I also liked her, her self-conscious nature in the book. That was great. Although she's supposed to have I was like, props to this cover for having her correct hair color, but those props are immediately taken away because she's supposed to have a birthmark on her face, and she doesn't. So, yeah. So I gave this one a 3.5 and rounded up on Goodreads. So that's that one. Next, I read Through the Looking Glass. Also really loved it. Pretty much the same thing as Alice in Wonderland. So yeah, not much to say there. Different. And then I read this to my son, also The Beginner's Bible for Toddlers. So just short Bible stories. I was actually missing one, but I can't, this was mine as a kid. I'm missing one, but I counted it just because it was only one story, and it's like, 5 pages, I think, that I'm missing. 5, 6 pages, so I just counted it as having read it. So, yeah, but it was cute. Cute Bible story. Yeah. Okay, actually, let me read you one of these, because this was, so in the section about the 10 Commandments, this one was really funny. The one that normally kids versions tend to talk around is do not commit adultery, which in this one it says, remember that marriage is a promise. Okay, fine, actually don't mind that as the interpretation there. But then the do not steal, the way that they put that is, make sure it is okay before you borrow things from others. No, that's not what that means. That is not, I just found that one really funny. But anyway, yeah, I gave this 4 stars. It was fine. Again, another thing I'll be reading to him when he's old enough to actually follow. Okay, next I read The Unconventional Governess by Jessica Nelson. It's a woman who wants to be a doctor, but her uncle, who is her, who taught her how to be a nurse, like his sidekick, sort of, yeah. He won't take her back, and so she takes on the role of governess for this other man, and for this guy who has his niece needs a governess, so she takes that on, and then of course they fall in love and stuff. So it was fine. 3.5, rounded it up. And yeah, it's had one of those, like, the love interest has a cute relationship with a little child, which is just, yes, give me all of that. All of that. Like, any of that you can give me, give it. I will take it. Yes. Okay, next book that I read was An Unlikely Duchess by, again, Jessica Nelson. This is about a widow who makes a marriage of convenience to a guy that everyone kind of is scared of in London, just because her family needs money, and he has money, and he'll take care of them if she marries him, and then they fall in love. I think I gave this one a 3.25 as well. These were just kind of, fun, quick reads that weren't the best thing ever, but they were still fun. Okay, next I read Heart of Beauty, a short story by Tessa Afshar, and I gave that 4.5 stars. It was just a cute little mystery story set in Bible times about one of Philip the Evangelist's daughter. Yeah, Philip the Evangelist's daughters, and her solving a mystery. It was great. And then I read The Railway Children by E. Nesbit, and this was also precious. I loved it. Again, has that perfect classic style for me. Yeah, not much to say, just loved this book so much. The kids were precious. The way they thought about things and their lines were just so great. All right, and then finally, and this one is not on Goodreads. I'll link the Goodreads reviews for the rest of them down below. This book is not on Goodreads. I'm a little annoyed. But anyway, that's Beauty Surrender by Sarah's Story by May Sue Andrews. And this one is about Sarah in the Bible, and as she's dying, it's her her dying wish here is for Abraham to marry Keturah, which is a really interesting time to focus on, actually, is Sarah dying. It did have that one trope that all of the books seem like they have, maybe not all of, but multiple. I've read at least one other book that has the trope of Sarah and Abraham have a falling out due to the testing of Abraham and offering of Isaac, that whole thing. Yeah, so that's weird that that's happened multiple times in multiple books, but yes, because it implies at this point that when Sarah dies, they're living separately. That's why that's why that trope is a thing. But anyway, yeah, it was fine. I think I would give this 4 stars. There was one scene that I was like, I didn't like that as much, but it wasn't too bad. It was not like scene between Sarah and Abraham. That went a little further than I would have liked. So that is all the books that I read this month. What was your favorite book that you read in January? Please let me know in the comments below. And like and subscribe. I will see y'all next time.